Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the FinCom 2022 by CXO Global Forum. Now, as promised, we've got a very interesting panel discussion right after this, after the break that we took. Now, this panel discussion is going to be one of the most important ones of the day, so listen carefully, everyone. This is going to be about the future of e-commerce, and it'll be moderated by Ms. Anam Kamran from Buyon. She's the founder, and she will also be moderating this session. So over to you, Anam. All the best.
Thank you so much. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to CX Global Forum FinCom Summit 2022. Today, we are discussing about the future of e-commerce, and we have some amazing panelists with us to discuss about the e-commerce ecosystem in Pakistan, and they'll be sharing amazing insights about their business and about their e-commerce experience. So we have with us Mr. Mohsin Zaka. He is the co-founder of Tazah Technologies. We are expecting Mr. Salman Sattar in few minutes, CEO Bagallery. We have Mr. Umar Qamar. He is the co-founder of Exports Leftover. And we have Mr. Syed Atik Ali, Chief Operating Officer, M&P Logistics. So considering the amazing panel we have, let me ask them to introduce them a bit and tell us what they are doing and how they started their startup. Over to you, Umar, starting from you.
Hi, it's an honor to be here to participate and talk about the future of e-commerce in Pakistan. So my name is Umar Qamar and I started ELO back in 2013. And we mainly specialize in selling the garments leftovers from the export factories, and we sell it to the local consumer online in Pakistan. But recently we shifted from just selling leftovers to selling other products as well. So now our range has broadened to selling shoes, handbags, whatever is made in Pakistan or we can import from China, we sell. So it's more of a marketplace now. The niche has changed. And we have two offices, one in Faisalabad, one in Lahore, and we are currently have about 150 employees. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Thank you so much. Mr. Atik Ali, would you please switch on your camera, introduce yourself? Okay, can we move to Mohsin? Mohsin, can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Mohsin, we can hear you.
Assalamu alaikum. Really sorry, so I am having some internet and electricity issues in office right now.
It's okay.
So my name is Mohsin. So I'm the co-founder of Tazah Technologies. Currently, what we are doing, we are actually connecting retailers with the farmers. We started almost 6-7 months back. We raised up to around $8 to $8.5 million right now. Currently, we are working in Lahore, Islamabad, and Karachi. Roughly, we are serving around 2,000 to 2,500 retailers on a daily basis, giving them the fresh produce, which include multiple vegetables and fruits as well. So before that, I was working with Kareem. So I was working as a general manager for ride hailing for Pakistan. So this is the small intro from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mohsin. Mr. Atik, if you are here, please go ahead. Okay, I think he might have some internet issue. Moving forward with the questions, I would like to ask from Mohsin, because you have stepped into a different model that is very much conventional, like retailer side and the supply chain of agriculture is quite conventional in everyone's understanding. So how you turn the table and how you bring them all on the tag, and what are the challenges you faced during this journey?
Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes.
Yes. So basically, when I was working with Kareem, so I worked as a head of rickshaw as well. Jahan pe basically I was like looking after the all operations. The basic operation was to recruit the rickshaw drivers. So at that point, like we found out like these rickshaw drivers, like they're working in a community, and if you want to break them and if you want to bring them on tech, so this is not an easy task. So usme, like what we did, like we hired rickshaw drivers on the Kareem payroll, which helped us to gather more and more supply. So I had that experience in my mind. So when we started working in Tazah, so like I know like it's a pretty difficult task to educate these retailers because they are not as such tech savvy. So what we did, like we opened up a couple of channels where we actually try to recruit these retailers. So one thing we did, like we hired order bookers in Lahore, Islamabad, and Karachi, and then like we made a plan where we graduated these retailers from giving orders from order bookers to a telesales. Then we graduate from like order booker to telesales, and then from telesales we move them to the app. So currently, like almost 30 to 40% of the orders are coming on app. 60% are still sort of non-tech, but I would say like taking an order from telesales is still a big achievement because these people are like even don't know how to use smartphones or like even like bar phones. So it's a pretty difficult journey, but I think like in a 6-7 months of journey, 30-40% are coming online, giving us orders every day. So they have the confidence of the system. So we are actually building up an ecosystem right now, and I feel like it will take like maybe next 1.5 year to actually take this number to at least 60-70%.
All right, very interesting. Moving on, Umar, I would like to ask you, we all know how LO started, how exports leftover came into being, and most of us know what are the USPs which is keeping you stand out in the crowd. So I really want to ask you how you retain your customers and what are the changing trends you have observed on your journey in past couple of years.
I feel giving the best value to the customer is the most important thing, and that is the number one thing. So for the longest time, we didn't really focus on making money or profitability or the bottom line. It was just like serving customer and trying to able to get the retention rate up. So throughout the 8 years we have been working, we have been trying to work on how to create loyal customers. Because if you're gonna give good experience every single time to the same old customers, it's gonna drive your business. So our main focus has always been to retain that loyalty with our customer, and that's what we have been doing. So we give out gift vouchers to loyal customers. There is an automated system. The email goes out, and if you have been buying or like, you know, with the algorithm, it just automatically issues you the voucher. The exchange policy has helped us a lot, which was the 30-day money back guarantee. If you don't like the product, you can send it back. And we are always looking for recommendations from customers. If they feel that this feature needs to be introduced in the website, we'll try to do that. Even for products, a lot of the designs come through customer telling us that this is what we should be looking for. You should introduce these designs. And if we are able to find those designs, so we are always listening to the customers. So in the recent years, what I have seen, the trends which have changed over time have been that there is an increased interest in items like makeup. So when we started off back in 2013, makeup was not something which you were buying online, but now you see those things being bought online. And I would say with the introduction of services like Kist Pay, BNPL, I have seen increased AOV, which in our case has been 300%. So these are some of the trends which I would like to highlight.
Awesome. So we have Mr. Atik with us. Mr. Atik, can you hear us now? I think he is lost again. Okay. So Mohsin, you are working as a B2B marketplace. So what is your business model be like if we talk about the logistic part? Are you transporting from one city to another, or you are particularly working within a city from the demand and supplier side both?
So Anam, again, uh, I would say we are sort of like people say us that we are a agri-tech business, but I would say we are into a supply chain. So we are actually connecting the farmers and retailers. So most of the time, when we started, we were serving only within the city. We serve these small retailers, uh, uh, like. Um, like small retailers, you have seen like these small retailers like sitting in the residential areas, uh, in the early stages, or the traditional or the conventional business was they are buying from the wholesale market or mandi on a daily basis. So we are trying to serve these retailers first, but then we found out the market is very huge, so we opened up Karachi and Islamabad. So now we are going into the city to city supply as well, because the potato we are buying for Lahore, we are serving our demand of Karachi as well, and we are serving the supply of Islamabad as well, with a like pretty good hold on the supply side, because we are moving like tons of produce on a daily basis, alhamdulillah. So we have a good grip on the supply side. After 2-3 months, we found out this can be the huge export business as well. So in last 2 months, we started exports as well. We are into the exports we exported multiple containers of citrus. Now we are moving into the mangoes and vegetables as well.
All right. So you have started export as well. Are there any particular countries you are catering currently?
Yeah, currently we are exporting into Dubai. We are exploring. We are opening up an office in Dubai or KSA very soon, inshallah, because these are all markets served by the adjacent countries. So the potential is huge. I think within 3-4 months we will be opening up a proper setup and serving KSA, Dubai, Bahrain, all these countries near Pakistan, inshallah.
All right, great to hear that. Umar, let me ask you one. I don't think it's a different or a unique question, but we all have seen a good spend on digital marketing from exports leftover. We have seen different videos from exports leftover, which nobody have started earlier. So, what make you think like that? How you, as an owner of the company, comes up online and interacting with the consumer directly? So, what was the idea behind it, and what would you suggest? What would you recommend to the new e-commerce businesses to spend on the digital marketing? What strategies they should be following?
So first of all, for me, I started coming into the videos because I had to do that, because I was sitting in Faisalabad, and in Faisalabad, it's very hard to find models. I was sitting not even in Faisalabad, I was sitting 25 kilometers outside Faisalabad. So getting models, getting people to create content for you was just very difficult for me. So I was watching a podcast of Gary Vaynerchuk, and he was just basically telling that he started his first business was basically a wine business, and he used to explain about he used to do a show every week or every day, and he used to talk about different wines, so people who are interested in buying wines would understand what they should buy. So I said, okay, I don't know, I cannot find good content for my product. Why don't I just go online and start telling people about the product I'm trying to sell? That was the whole concept.
That's and what was the response?
Amazing. I thought I used to cringe when I used to make those videos, and it was very cringy, to be honest, because we used to make so many mistakes. We used to tell wrong prices a lot of times, and we were not able to tell, we would repeat ourselves quite a few times. So it was very cringe. It wasn't really nicely produced, because we were just using a simple camera phone to do that. But the reaction from the customers was amazing because because first of all, when it comes to buying anything online, you cannot touch or feel anything. So having these explainer videos uh, gives an insight to the customer when they have to make the buying decision. So that we understood very quickly. And when we stopped making them for a while, there were people coming in and they were like, oh, this shirt or this jeans, why don't you make a video for that? And I understood that this is we are on to something, and we continued doing that. So once again, I would say anything for the customer, for a new brand to establish a brand, they need to focus on how customer can believe that this brand is trustable. So if you need to make a story, if you need to make an explainer video, this is the number one strategy you have to do. You have to make them believe in you, and that's how we operate.
Awesome. So you just mentioned that you are turning into a marketplace model instead of a typical e-store. So when we talk about an e-store, you have your products in your hand. You can show them in videos or in pictures. But when you are turning into a marketplace, you don't usually own the inventory. You don't hold the inventory, do you?
No, we hold the inventory. So we are working kind of like a hybrid model. So it's like a marketplace, but you have to stock your product with us. So everything is shipped by us, because the problem with the Pakistani manufacturer, Pakistani supplier is, that's how we differentiate from Daraz, because Daraz doesn't do QC. For every single product which we sell on ELO, we vouch for the quality, not the supplier. So you're going to come running to us saying, well, we bought this t-shirt and the quality was bad, or, you sent the wrong size or the wrong color. It's on us because we are shipping it. So it helps us keep the quality control better.
All right. So can we say it's more like a multi-vendor store rather than multi-brand store, right?
No, it is a multi-vendor. The only difference is that we don't allow people to ship from their own warehouse. You have to stock everything with us. And you can set the prices, you can set everything, and it works like that.
All right. So you are, making a mark in digital marketing. I really want you to spend some minutes on it and recommend us new e-commerce businesses and aspiring e-commerce entrepreneurs what strategies they should follow and they can follow to start with the digital marketing scenario.
I feel things have changed a lot, and we obviously had a head start when it comes to online marketing, because back in 2013 it was virgin territory pretty much, and if you posted something online, you would get a reach of like 100-200,000 people very easily. So right now the algorithm of Facebook keeps on changing, and I would tell all of you that the results, the ROAS or the conversions which Facebook shows are not true. So if they say that the ROAS is 8, it isn't, because you can go to your Shopify store, you can go to your dashboard, and it wouldn't match up. So what we have recently started doing is that we are spending about 70% of our budget on getting new audience to the website, and then 30% of the stuff is retargeting those audiences, because we have got a very fired up pixel. So we have got a lot of data of the customer. So that's what we are doing. So we are just getting more traffic. So the ratio is between 70 and 30%, getting new traffic, and then 30% is retargeting. And then you can obviously, so the other thing which I feel is very important is it's not about targeting. It's actually about creating content which is relatable and clickable. So a lot of people say, we have spent 100,000 rupees on an ad and it is not giving us any results. Well, they should look at the creative that they have made, because the creative might not resonate with the people that they are trying to target. So that is a big problem with a lot of people I meet, that they, I spent so much money, but I'm not getting the results. It's because the creative doesn't make sense. So I feel that there should be more thought put behind what they are trying to do, or you need to crack it. Like, for example, we cracked it. We spend a lot of money on models now because we have an office in Lahore, but it doesn't give us the results which we get through the mobile phone videos. So the creative matters, even though it's much better produced, we spend more money on doing that. But at the end of the day, it comes to the returns. And if it's not, if something is not giving you returns, it's a fancy packaged video and it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So we stopped doing that.
All right. So content creation comes even before the budget. No matter how much budget you have, if you are creative in your content, you can.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Atik, I can see you now. I hope you can hear us. No, I think.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right.
And this is
Atik. Awesome. Atik, sorry. So, Mr. Atik, we missed your introduction, so would like you to please introduce yourself a bit.
Okay. First of all, I'm really sorry. There are some technical issues, and
that's
as
fine.
we are talking about the e-commerce thing, and the back-end thing is for the successful e-commerce. I think the pre-rack is the technology, and I'm just suffering from technology. As far as my introduction is concerned, I am Syed Atik by profession. I'm a chartered accountant, and currently I'm the Chief Operating Officer for M&P Express Logistics, which is a courier logistics company in Pakistan.
All right. Thank you for coming online with us to discuss about the future of e-commerce in Pakistan, Mr. Atik. I really want to ask you about the last mile delivery strategies M&P is taking, because e-commerce, cash on delivery, it is the new thing from past couple of years. Every logistic company who was working conventionally is now turning towards the e-commerce deliveries. So what strategies you are taking to make last mile delivery successful?
Okay. Now, as any business, you have to, for us, like we are in the service industry, and you have to provide or design your services for your customers. So exactly, the e-commerce and particularly the COD segment is something new in our industry. Yes, it's there for last 4 or 5 years, but the kind of disruption, the kind of engagement we are experiencing nowadays, both consumer and the marketplaces, the whole spectrum is changing. We are still in the learning phase, and because consumer and the marketplace and people like the ELO or maybe everybody is in the process of learning, and as we are gaining and want to go to a different dimension with the customer experiences, so we are changing our own products and services in accordance with the requirement of our customers. So like for example, the omni-channel. Traditionally, the logistics companies are working on a different dynamics. We picked up shipment from our customers' premises, bring it to our own operational hubs. Then there's a there's internal processes, and then the shipments goes to the destination, whether through the road line haul or using the airline haul. But now things are changing. Omni-channel is there. People are expecting 30-minute delivery or 2 hours delivery. So we are also in process of changing our internal processes in accordance with the market dynamics. Yeah.
All right. So in a couple of e-commerce discussion we have previously in different roundtable conferences, people usually discuss about the increased cost of deliveries. So are there any innovative solutions that can be implemented to reduce the cost of deliveries, because it can overall impact the e-commerce ecosystem? So tell me if there are any innovative solutions that can be implemented or you have implemented already.
Okay, I think first of all, the cost of delivery is, on a relative basis, is not increasing. Rather, it's going down because there are a lot of new incumbents coming in, and so the market is getting competitive. And we are, so the market from the price perspective, I don't think it's increasing. Yes, The cost components are increasing. For example, the major ingredients for any logistic provider is fuel. So the fuel is going up like anything, and you can, as an individual, you're also experiencing the increase in the fuel prices. So in any shape and form, whether you use the last mile delivery for the courier rider or the line haul from shipping product from one city to another, or using the airline haul, the fuel is the major ingredient, and it's increasing like anything. Again, another cost component which is impacting is the US dollar parity with Pak rupees. That's also increasing. So the cost of doing business for the logistics providers are going high. It's going up unproportionally. But again, if you want to decrease the overall, and again, it's kind of the whole ecosystem for the e-commerce and the supply chain, with the fulfillment centers and then the warehouses. And so it's not only the last mile delivery or the road transportation, but I think right now I don't think with the economic indicator, I don't think prices of the last mile delivery is going down, because the cost components are constantly increasing.
All right. So moving forward, I have a question which can be answered by all three of you. Pakistan is a cash on delivery market predominantly. So do you see any trends of digital transactions, how it is turning, and what do you see in next couple of years? So starting from Umar, Mohsin, and then Mr.
Uh, I see that Pakistan is changing now with the introduction of facilities when it comes to online and digital payments. But I feel that the government has to do more when it comes to providing legislation, when it comes to sales tax, when it comes to facilitating these digital payments. So for me, the biggest issue is that it is incentivizing people to use credit card when it goes to offline stores. So for example, if I go to a restaurant, I'll get a credit card discount, plus I would have to pay only 5% sales tax doing a transaction with my card. And enabling so it's a no-brainer. If I go to a restaurant, I would always use a card, because it gives me discount, B, I have to pay low sales tax. This should be introduced to the online space. For example, it isn't implemented when it comes to e-commerce as often as it should be. Shopify doesn't have any partner APIs when it comes to any banks in Pakistan. So there's no payment portal which allows you to do bin discounts. And with a country of 220 million people, there has not been a single company which is able to crack that. So I feel that is we need that until and before that we cannot transition more into digital payments. So I feel that there is a lot of development which needs to be done before we transition from COD to digital banking card payments. So it's changing, but I feel that it could be accelerated if we do some of these things right.
Yeah, Mohsin, your take on this?
So Anam, I think what Umar said, I totally second with him, because the potential is there. The overall ecosystem needs to be developed, because it's not the one-man show. Maybe you can see Sattar is coming, Tag is coming, so they are actually helping the overall ecosystem, so that people get used to it. The overall account opening process needs to be more simplified. The transaction system needs to be more simplified. They are putting a lot of effort, but again, the government rules and regulations need to be fixed, because this is not one player or two player, or the startups can fix the ecosystem. So I would say in 2014, Pakistan had 3G 3G infrastructure. After that, the actual boom has come, right? So if like, for example, like there would be, I would say there would be no Daraz, there would be no Careem or Uber or like any such startup if the ecosystem was not there. So the government needs to play like very critical role in developing the ecosystem. And if that would be there, like I would say like the potential is huge. Like if you talk about Easy Paisa, Jazz Cash, like they are doing like pretty good job. But again, like they have the limitations because they are not getting a proper support from the government. And like as Umar said, like I used to I usually take like just credit cards. I don't have cash, and like just because like I don't want to pay cash but on the credit card I'm getting discounts. I have to pay low sales tax. So these are sort of like incentive system needs to be there, and this is something like government need to play a very critical role. And the potential is there, and the potential is insane. Like honestly, insane potential is there.
All right. So you both have discussed about the credit card side, but I personally feel there is a huge market which is unbanked. There are a lot of people who don't have bank accounts. So how could they get the credit card or debit card? What are the innovative ideas? What could be the innovative solutions to bring that part on the digital payment as well? How can we bring them on that as well?
I personally think they're already there with the Easy Paisa wallets and Jazz Cash wallets and all of that. And if the government continues and provides the same incentives on these wallets, I think it makes a lot of sense. And a lot of these people would, overnight switch to digital payments if those incentives are provided to those consumers.
Yeah, Mohsin,
because my driver has a mobile wallet, but he doesn't have a bank account.
Yeah,
like
right.
you go to these villages, you go to these towns, and every single person has an Easy Paisa wallet or a Jazz Cash wallet. They don't have a bank account.
Yeah, so other, I think like other microfinancing options or like other micro wallets are there, bank accounts like mobile wallets are there. But again, I would say like the maximum burn, like if you say like Easy Paisa, Jazz Cash, like they are burning a lot to establish the ecosystem, but there's no as such incentive from the government side. Right? So like, why should they burn a lot? So I was part of Telenor. I know like how many like dollars they have burned. Like Jazz, like burned a lot. Like I would say like Sada Pay, these tag, like all these startups need to burn a lot to build the ecosystem. But that is something like I would say the government needs to be step in. So like for example, like I worked for Careem for 4 years. So I know like we burned a lot just to build the ecosystem, just to like convince people that like they can book rides online. But I think like if the ecosystem was there, the overall like burning or ride per dollar burn would be much lower. So yeah, so I think like one player cannot do anything. I think like Careem has burned around $200 million only in Pakistan. Like no one can burn this amount of money because like no one has so much cash. So if the government was using that $200 million to build the overall ecosystem, like I would say that would be more beneficial. But one thing, like I would say, like because I went to other countries and I found out like the overall two things that are pretty amazing in Pakistan. One is access to internet. Like per MB cost is pretty low, and the smartphone also like you can buy like I think $40-50 a pretty good smartphone. That is actually helping the ecosystem. But again, if like government keep on charging high sort of like taxes or these things to these like telecom industries or mobile manufacturers, then I would say like that would again slow down the speed of developing the internet ecosystem in Pakistan. So again, no one can do anything unless until like government policy should be there.
All right. So according to a customer survey and the survey some students have conducted from the customers to ask them why they are not paying upfront and they are preferring cash on delivery over digital transactions, even if they have bank account or they have a wallet. The most common answer we have got that they don't trust online shopping. So there is a big, challenge when it comes to paying upfront. What do you say about this? How can we build trust and bring them from the typical cash on delivery to digital payments?
For me, I would easily say that if I give more discounts, if I'm able to apply bin discounts, I can convert that 10% digital payment person to about 30%. Easy. Overnight. Because the customer has to, because for me, 65% of the customers are already repeat customers for me. They only use COD because they're not getting any benefit, even if they pay digitally, because they are paying the same price. And for me, I would like Atik to be here. With COD, the delivery success rate is like 90% to 95% at best. Some of the brands already get like 80%. So it just takes the return parcels out of equation if everything is digital. So for me, it's like a win-win situation. I would rather give 10% discount if I am guaranteed a better delivery success rate.
All right, Mohsin.
Yeah, so I think like one way to convince customer to buy online or maybe like digitally, so you can push more discount. But I would say like as Umar as mentioned in the early discussion, like the trust should be there. So if you have a trust on the product, if you have a trust on the brand, so then you can buy anything online. So I would say like if I have to buy something from maybe like Samsung or maybe like a big store or flagship store from any brand, so I would pay in any case digitally. I have no issue. But I would say like there can be some hiccups. Like it's not possible that every time the delivery is smooth. Maybe like sometimes the product you deliver is different. Sometimes the size is different, especially in the case of garments and shoes. So I would say like what Jomo is doing is like pretty good job. Like they are convincing customer to try it before to buy it, right? So that actually gives the trust to customer to buy online, even through credit card or some digital payment. So I think that if you're able to, so again, like I would say like we need to crack the customer psyche. So if the customer is not buying because they have not the trust online, they don't have trust online, so you need to build that trust. And I would say the only thing that can break that barrier is if you allow the customer to try it before you buy it. But again, like that has some other issues as well. So I've seen some frauds as well, like people order and like then exchange the product and say that we don't want it. But again, like it's a trade-off. There's a startup in Saudi, I forgot the name. So they recently raised $15 million and they were majorly focusing on try it before you buy it. And they're doing a pretty good job. How Amazon is fixing it? So they have made the return process very simple. So you don't need to worry about the product. So if the product is delivered wrong, so don't need to worry about that. You just take put the product outside your home and they will come and pick it up. So the customer has a trust on it. So if you build the customer trust, then you can even buy a product online without any discount.
Yeah. All right. So do we have Mr. Atik? Mr. Atik, can you hear us?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So Umar's question about cash on delivery. What's your take as a logistic company? How can we, change the mindset of the consumer, of the customer, that they can shift easily from the COD part to the digital payment part, and how this change can, change the entire logistic part as well?
Okay, first of all, I cannot agree more with Omar and Mohsin on the the digitization thing. But a couple of things we need to keep in mind. First of all, the trust wall element, and that is because if you keep aside the e-commerce, but if you just see how we experience in the normal brick and mortar store, and our experience as individuals as well. Whenever we go to the stores to return something, and you feel the total change in attitude of the salesperson, of the owner, or the owner of the shop. So same goes with the our practices and when we go for the e-commerce, and on the back of the mind, unconsciously, we are apprehensive whenever we are dealing with the e-commerce business as well. So as we, it's kind of a chicken and egg situation. So as we mature and grow up in the e-commerce space, we have to develop our practices as well. So for example, from the consumer perspective, the written policies, okay, and how many questions and how easy it is for the customer to get their shipment returns if they don't like it, or this is not what they got at the time when they are ordering it. So these kind of things will definitely develop confidence on the consumers. Second thing is the consumer protection element. We as a logistics partner, time and again we are facing, even at different times our courier were beaten by the consignee because he experienced he ordered a different variety or a different brand, but on the other hand, whenever he got the second-hand goods, or goods from the random market and all that. So these kind of practices also going on, which Mohsin highlight as a fraud practice. So if we align all those, and if we address all those concern of the consumers, then digitization won't be that as far as I'm concerned, won't be a that big problem. Fintechs and digitization is also started, but again, as we are not, I mean, we are hardly 1% of the overall retail landscape as far as the e-commerce is concerned. So we are gradually building up momentum. So if people are shifting their preference from brick and mortar stores to the e-commerce, then definitely they will, and they have to convert on the digitization thing, and it will definitely yes. Offering from the banks in form of discounts, and will definitely attract, but I think it will take some time further as we but inshallah I think we will move from COD to digitization.
All right. Thank you for your feedback. You just have mentioned about the return and exchange policy. We were discussing a bit earlier that frauds can be done easily, and customers are actually doing such kind of frauds. If they are returning their parcel, they pack something else in it and then return to the rider, and rider brings it to the sender or the merchant or the vendor. So how courier company can mitigate this risk and overcome this issue, this fraud issue?
Okay, first of all, again, we all are in a learning phase, and because this is something new and we are experiencing, every day we experiencing something new, so we are also in the learning phase, and we have to, come up with something. Like for example, right now, Mohsin just gave example of Jomo, who come up with a the new way of selling the products that they offer. Try it, and you can take the product after you tried it. So otherwise, what we are instructed from our customer, not to let the consignee open the shipments or the product and check it before they accept the shipments and make the payment. So it's kind of, for us, it's take it or leave it. So we don't give any option to the consignee, these are the practices we have to develop as a complete ecosystem. So right now, this is not there, and at first instance, the courier who is at the ground doesn't know about the product. So what's inside at the time of delivery? Same goes when if we are taking it back. So we don't know. It's very difficult for us right now to put any checks when taking the delivery back from the consignee. So, but we have to think about it. Maybe we have to see the best practices in the developed markets. We have to learn from our customers, people like Mohsin and Umar, and to come up with a solution to tackle this issue.
Yes, Mohsin, please go ahead.
Mohsin, you raised your hand.
Yeah. Sorry. It takes some time to unmute myself. I don't know, like there's some issue with my laptop. So I was saying, like, I think the better way to tackle this problem is data, because so like which customer is returning you on a daily basis, maybe like on a daily basis, or maybe like whenever he's ordering. So out of like 10 orders, 7 orders he has returned. So at this point of time, like which customer is exploiting you. So you need to block that customer. So you can't fix everything operationally. That's why I would say, like the major thing that we startups need to solve is like how to read the data. So what we are doing right now, we are serving around 2,000 to 2,500 retailers on a daily basis. Like you can't imagine, we are taking returns on a fresh produce as well. So this is how we are building trust. But what we are doing it, like we are taking returns, but we are managing it, like which customers are returning on a daily basis. So these are those customers which are exploiting the overall system. So we are looking at the data, like 70% of the returns are coming from like 10% of the customers. So I don't need to serve those customers. I need to block them. Right. But like, I would say, like operationally, there are multiple hacks that you can do. Like maybe when you are delivering, you can ensure you can do like whenever you are trying, you have to try it in front of the delivery man, but everything you're going to try in front of the delivery man. So still there's a gap. But I would say, like operationally, I don't think that you can solve it. It's the data that can solve which customer you need to serve and which customer you don't need to serve.
Yes, very valid point, Mr. Atik. Mr. Atik, sorry. Do you have anything to say on this?
Yes, I agree with what Mohsin has just mentioned. And again, that kind of, it's a teamwork and between the customer and the service provider. Because again, when we're working on the data, so we have to see, the limitations we have, like how we can use the data as a service provider, and what sort of support the customer can provide us to use that data, the consumer data.
Yes, I think data can play a vital role not only from the customer side but on the vendor side as well, because there are a lot of Facebook seller who comes up in the morning and send garbage parcels throughout the day and shuts down their store at the night and start with a new name the second day. And courier companies, I think, are the only way who can work on this as a collectively, committee or consortium, where they can actually pinpoint such kind of sellers and help us to improve the overall trust on e-commerce ecosystem, because these vendors are actually ruining the customers' trust, because they are selling garbage and they are ultimately using some or other kind of logistic companies, maybe not big companies like M&P, TCS or Leopards, but there are a lot of logistic companies coming up who are catering such kind of vendors. So I think logistic can play a vital role to strengthen the overall ecosystem of e-commerce in Pakistan. Moving towards the end, I really want to ask all three of you, what do you see about the growth of e-commerce in Pakistan in next 3 years? And assume that you are talking to the government of Pakistan, what would you ask them to implement immediately or maybe down the road in next few months to strengthen the ecosystem? Omar?
Again, I would repeat about so for me, the growth has to be digital. I believe in businesses where the cost of delivery is low or non-existent. Whereas in Pakistan, if you want to do business, the cost of delivery is very high because you have to add that 10% of the return orders. So the cost of doing delivery in Pakistan is very high when you put in an account that those 10% of the orders are going to come back to you. So you need to work on that. And the way you can only improve is by introducing digital payments. So the government has to introduce digital payments. The other thing I would ask the government to do is cross-border transactions. Right now, sending a parcel outside Pakistan is very expensive. So we need to work on delivery networks either private or public, and so we can do the cross-border e-commerce. I believe we need to work on those two things. So if I'm sitting with the government on any panel, I would be asking for these things.
All right, Mohsin.
So I think what Umar said is totally absolutely right, because if you want to make the e-commerce ecosystem more friendly to the people, so I would say the basic things needs to be solved. So digital payments needs to be solved, cash and delivery needs to be solved, delivery cost needs to be solved, because I would say so a single player cannot do anything. So this should be the focus overall, that how we can overall build the digital ecosystem in Pakistan. And again, currently, as such, I don't have anything in my mind, but I would say so if you talk about KLI, Karachi, Lahore, Islamabad, so you still find some internet penetration. But if you move to the rural areas or suburban areas, the overall, I would say the internet penetration is still very low, because the overall connectivity is not good. I think in KLI, I would say still, I would say still 3G penetration is not 100%. So, and again, telcos are not working on those areas, because the cost of the delivering that internet is very high. So I worked what I know these BTS and BSCs and MSCs, the telcos has developed in Pakistan, it's a $1 million cost. And if you talk about telco industry, so 19%, 19.5% tax on the telco, and there's some other taxes as well. So if you want to develop something, then I would say then you need to incentivize the overall ecosystem. So from telecom authorities to people, to manufacturers, to service providers, and then the ecosystem will start building, because otherwise the overall opportunity would be so costly that people will not try to even try to adapt the overall digital sort of ecosystem, because they would say it's very costly. And as Umar said, that every piece of the logistics, delivery ecosystem, Shopify is in Pakistan, but there's no compatibility. So they need to work on the ecosystem.
All right, thank you, Mr. Atik. Please, your bits.
Yes, okay. So I think the government has to play a very important role, and to create a very conducive environment, particularly for the youth, and by providing the internet infrastructure and financing facilities for the startups, particularly for the young generation, for making the comprehensive business models and the startups. Second, I think data protection is very important as far as I'm concerned, and then the cybersecurity, because a lot of data is building up through these e-commerce trade, and we have to take care of that for the data protection and the cybersecurity. So that also increases the confidence of the consumer to shift from brick and mortar stores to the e-commerce things. That's I think is important.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, all three of you, Umar, Mohsin, Mr. Atik, for sharing wonderful insights, your experience. The discussion is, I think, endless. I still have a lot of questions to ask, but we are getting out of time, so we are keeping those questions for some other discussions. We are going to end the session for now. Thank you very much to all the panelists, and thank you so much everyone who have listened us and who have joined us online. Take care. Allah Hafiz.